Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dry Pink Dialogue. It is the instant reaction. Inter Miami defeats the Columbus Crew 5-1. And I just have to say, this is a funny sport sometimes. I had a huge question mark at the beginning of this game. How was Inter Miami going to score goals? And the answer was to the left, to the right, up top, below, down the middle. Today, tomorrow, and yesterday, Inter Miami dominates the Columbus Crew in a way that we haven't seen from this team in quite some time. Of course, the first question is going to be, are we back? Are we ready to take on the opponents that we're about to face in the Club World Cup? Are we ready to take on the second half of the MLS season and reclaim our spot at the top? We'll get into all of that. But first, Sor, my friend, my co-host, what is your reaction to that game?
You said something about a blowout.
I did say something about a blowout.
Oh, this could have easily been a 7-2 game, man. Oh my god. That was phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant game plan, executed to perfection. Every player knew exactly what they were doing in that pitch. We completely nullified what Columbus tried to do. At some points, I was thinking to myself, is this Columbus playing really badly or Inter Miami playing really well? And I came to the conclusion that this is Columbus playing badly because Inter Miami forced them to play badly. We really knew exactly what we wanted to do and how we wanted to play. And it just worked brilliantly. I was mentioning to you online, I already have my awards ready for what I want to do tomorrow because it just felt so well thought out. And all credit to Javier Mascherano for how he set up the team and the game plan that he had in mind. It's not always worked against lesser oppositions, but seems like Inter Miami loves to play against Columbus and get results against one of the best teams in the MLS. Hats off to everyone. Messi led from the front. I think he's now completely immersed in the MVP form. There's no stopping him. Suarez getting back to his best slowly, got another goal today. But I thought the key was putting Benjamin Kramaski in the middle, having Segovia play that midfielder slash winger role, depending on how the game demands. So having him float around in the middle, on the sides, and then Allende making those bursts down the wing was just unstoppable. Crew did not know what hit them, and honestly, Inter Miami deserved this win. Unlike the last game, Inter Miami absolutely deserved more goals, honestly. We could have scored a lot more and shouldn't have conceded that corner. But overall, so happy. This is what a win feels like. And yeah, we move into the Club World Cup with all the confidence, and I hope that the performances remain this high and at this level because this team is capable of so much more. I will say my biggest fear is that when Javier Mascherano has players available at his disposal, he's going to make the wrong choices. And it looks like the fact that he has only a limited pool of players to choose from, he can do only as much wrong. So he put the right players out there, had the right game plan, and needs to be commended for that performance because I thought it wasn't just individual talent, it was also what Inter Miami was trying to do in terms of their game plan and tactics that worked phenomenally well.
Benjamin Kramaski.
So good. So good.
I know that we've said, like, we know this, and we have said repeatedly he's a midfielder, not a winger. But man, that's what we're talking about. Like he has done admirable, I think, as a player that's never played out wide, doing that job. But my goodness, man, he looks so natural. All of the real traits that he has that are electric, they just shine when he's in that midfield. He just was phenomenal in this game, and I thought a little bit of what we saw him develop as a wide player. You saw a little bit of that come forward. There was a couple times where he was pushing high up the field. And he had like a little header past the defender, and then ran with it, and then was really making things happen. He was so good though, and I wanted to give him credit. Luis Suarez, I thought really, really strong performance after, he hits his goal. He's going to be feeling great. He was involved in a very strong way, especially I think in the last 45 minutes of his game. I don't know how you describe the indescribable. I mean, Messi's just, I don't know how to describe it. He looks so good. He looks, at the beginning of the season, the first 7 games or so, we talked about how he was in the best form of his Inter Miami career. That's what he looked like tonight. Like just the composure on the ball, the toying with defenders. I mean, he was phenomenal. The back line was really good. David Martinez, I thought, had a really nice game. Maxi Falcone, I'll ding him a little bit because it was his man that got the corner, but it's just a thorough. It's an incredible performance. And Rocco Rios Novo came in and he was fine.
His
And
passing was really good, actually.
yeah,
I wanted to see his passing stats. It might actually be above 90% because he had so many good completed passes. Somebody mentioned Rocco's not it. I don't know why he was brought on. I think probably to give him some minutes off the bench.
I don't think
But
so. I think this was something going wrong with Scotty,
maybe,
which could be a concern.
Yeah. We can't be losing two of our starting goalkeepers. But no, overall, I thought he was good. Let's go player by player. I think starting off with Kramaski, because you mentioned him first. This is confirmation about two things. One, if you put players where they're supposed to play and what their comfortable position is, you're going to get the best out of them. Segovia in the last 2 games has looked a transformed player. He has looked among the best players this league has seen. And not just what he does in front of goal, but his command of the middle of the pitch, the way he takes the ball, disperses it. He does so many good things. But this is about Benjamin Kramaski. Kramaski played in the middle for the first time, I think, this season, or at least for an extended period in the middle from the start of the game. And forget about what he was doing on the ball. I thought that was really good, very tidy, passing in the right moments, sending the ball to Busquets, helped Busquets in the midfield really well. But more than that, his off the ball was absolutely spot on. Exactly what he was supposed to do. He was pressing at the right moments. He was providing support to the press when needed. When Allende was going in for the press, Benjamin Kramaski was there with him. When Segovia was going for the press, Benjamin Kramaski was there with him. When we lost the ball, when Crew was trying to get through the middle, Benjamin Kramaski was covering for Busquets to make sure that when Busquets is going in for the tackle, he is there to cover the second balls. He's there to cover the second runners. He was looking so good. And then his role in that second or third goal that we scored, I think, for him to win the ball that high up. First of all, there was one where he sort of pressed the ball into the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper had a bad pass directly to Messi, which led to that goal from Messi where he chipped the goalkeeper. That was Benjamin Kramaski working hard to make sure the goalkeeper's angles are closed. And then the second or the third goal, he had a very similar situation where he pressed the player, brought us the ball straight into the final third, and resulted in a goal. I thought if Messi hadn't got that many goals, if Suarez hadn't got a goal, Benjamin Kramaski would be my man of the match. He was really, really good for large parts of the game, and I loved watching him play in that midfield. I'll stop there, but we can move on to the next player if you want.
No, I think we will talk about him more tomorrow, but
yeah,
it's his off ball move. It's what he does off the ball. He wins balls back. He's aggressive and physical defensively. He gets himself in good position to be a threat in transition going the other way, not as like the final product, but as the link up guy. That's why when I see criticism of Kramaski, I think to myself, like, okay, just if you just watch him for 90 minutes, you're going to see him as a player. But if you just watch it when he has the ball, okay, I can understand why you would have a negative opinion. But he's so talented. This is why coaches love him. This is why he's getting opportunities with the national team. This is why scouts from Tottenham and Juventus are like looking at this player, because he has this in him. And when he plays like this, man, he's a baller. And we've, for those of us that have watched Inter Miami since he was the man in the midfield back in 2023, like we know he can do this. And so great to see him given the one opportunity he's been given to ball out like this. I thought that was awesome. You mentioned Segovia, same thing, dude. You put him in the right position to succeed, and he's balls out, man. Busquets, I thought, had a really nice game. Allende had some not clean touches, but I also thought he was just
he was the representation. Exactly. Yeah. He was the representation of what Inter Miami wanted to do. And every single time we pinged the ball over to him, he was just running down. I thought he was really good. I thought he was very confident. His goal was very well taken. Buried it in the bottom of the net, and honestly could have had a couple more. He was exactly what Inter Miami needed in this game. and he provided those vertical runs that allowed us to get out of pressure. We didn't faff about in the middle trying to play very intricate football, getting up the pitch. As soon as we got the ball, we just pinged it forward. Allende was there, Kramaski was running there. Sometimes even Messi was running in behind. Um, Allende, I thought, had a really, really good game. Sergio Busquets, the more we say about him, the less it is. I think I can go on an entire rant about how important Sergio Busquets has been in this stretch, because over the course of the last 8-9 games where Inter Miami has been really, really poor, Sergio Busquets for me has been the only one where I can see his levels haven't dropped. He's still the player in the midfield. His performances have been consistent. He has constantly helped Inter Miami in the middle when we needed to, and honestly is a large part of why we got some of the results previously. And then again today, him with his laser eye just pinging the balls in behind, fantastic. Um, who else? I thought Darwin Martinez was again really good. There was this one ball that he had ping straight across, flat, low, high, and I thought it went straight to Messi. It was unfortunately offside, but that was a beautiful ball. I think I want to see more of Falcone and Darwin Martinez. I think this is not the only time I want to see them. They were
Yeah.
brilliant. They Columbus has some really, really good forwards, by the way, and we didn't see Gazdag at all. Austin was completely nullified. Diego Rossi had some good moments in the second half, but I thought our backline did so well. Chelo Wigan honestly should have had a goal. That goal that Luis Suarez scored, I think we overpassed it a little bit to get it across to him. As soon as
No,
Messi had the
that
ball
was
into him, I know, of course, it went in. It was perfectly constructed, but he could have, if he wanted to, taken a shot, and
yeah,
that
but
should have been
he
on
would. I
target. He
don't
would
think
have
he would have
probably
made it.
he would have
So
booted it
he made
out.
the
So
right
absolutely
decision.
right. Yeah, he made the right decision, but he got into good positions defensively, very solid. I thought he had a really good game. The time off really helped him. Ian Frey coming in centrally, I thought had some of the best moments in the second half. As soon as he came on, he just ran in completely in behind, and I was like, he's probably going to get a couple of assists if he continues to do this. Um, I thought he had a really good performance as well. Noah Allen, quietly really good. Didn't have much to do in terms of creating, because I don't think this was the game plan for him to push up, but I thought he had a really good game. Defensively, Mo Farsi, nowhere to be seen. Uh, I think Columbus was very poor, but also Inter Miami's plan, the way we were set up, the compactness wasn't as though we were absorbing pressure constantly. It was compact, it was narrow. We were pressing in a medium block as a team, and we were just able to turn the ball around really well. And then there were pockets in which we were playing good football, moving the ball around, and then as soon as there was space, the ball would go long. I thought that was the perfect game plan, and it was executed to perfection. I can keep ranting, but I think maybe we should go to the comments to get get everyone else's thoughts, because
Yeah,
I thought it was a really good game.
the only other player I want to shout out is Ryan Saylor for making a season debut.
Yes,
That's my
let's
boy.
go.
Heart of the team, obviously. No, kidding. um, uh, here's my. I don't want to dive too deep into it because I think it's more fun to just be excited about it. But I do think Nick Hagan, the goalkeeper for Columbus, really really poor
Yeah.
first 25 minutes, and then it's 3-0, and Columbus just quit at that point. I thought if they were going to get back into this game, it was going to be a goal in the first half, and they just didn't have the energy. They did get a goal early in the second half, and you thought, is there any chance Miami's going to collapse? They do start to put pressure on. There was a really, I think, important moment where Maxi Falcone and Ruvalcaba for Columbus like sort of tussle, and he looks like he calls a foul on Maxi Falcone and gives him a yellow card, and it's the opposite. Somehow he gives the foul on Ruvalcaba, gives him a yellow card, and then David Martinez boots it forward. We score like 30 seconds later, and it goes 4-1 and the game's over. So I thought that was probably a pivotal moment that I wanted to mention because probably the ref got that wrong, if I'm being honest with you. But it doesn't matter because Inter Miami, once they got back into it, they weren't going to let it go. And so awesome moment.
Sorry, I want to say a couple of things. This win,
You don't want to go to the
back-to-back
chat?
win. No, I will go to the chat, but I still need to mention a couple of things. Back-to-back wins for the first time since March, since we went on that undefeated run. Inter Miami is now up to fourth. If we win our game in hand, I think we're going to be third or second. We're now the highest scoring team in the league. What a difference 2 games has made. I don't know how that's happened, but that has
It's because
happened.
we've scored 12 goals in the last 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
we
So that's
still
what
have
happens.
one
We
game
scored
in
12
hand.
goals in the last 3 games.
Vancouver has 2 games in hand, but we have 1 game in
Stop.
hand.
Okay,
And
stop.
then
I want to come back to this.
lastly,
No. I want to come back
lastly,
to this. I want to come back to that.
I have
Where
one
Miami
more point.
sits.
I have one more
Okay.
point, not
Okay.
about
Go
Inter
ahead.
Miami.
Okay.
Rocco Rios Novo had 19 passes attempted. 18 of them were successful. 9 of them were long balls. He really did have his passing on point today. So I didn't miss out on something. I did make the correct comment. Okay, now we can go to the chat.
Cynical Tube says, "We are back," with several exclamation points. If we were back, this is what it would look like. Like, this is what it would look like. You know what
I
this
want
game
to
reminded me
say.
of? This game reminded me of that Orlando City beatdown at the beginning of the 2024 season where we won 5-0. Everything went right for us, but more importantly, the other team gave us space and we just absolutely crushed them for it. And we just took advantage of every little opportunity, and it was so fun to watch. And I think that's my biggest takeaway is like, it was fun to be an Inter Miami fan. When this was happening against Montreal, it was like, this is cool, but I also know it's just Montreal. This, whatever you think of Columbus, they're a playoff team. They're a quality team. And we just crushed them. Season sweep on Wilfred Nancy, who apparently does not know how to beat Inter Miami, and I'm very grateful for that. Are we back?
I think we are back with an asterisk. There's still a long way to go. You got to continue to replicate these performances. But I will say, everyone who's feeling positive and giddy about this performance, please feel positive and giddy about this performance because it was worth that. You deserve to feel good about your team. I think after a long time, Inter Miami had a perfect performance over the course of 90 minutes. I think we played a great game. Fantastic tactical setup, very well executed by the players. Everyone on the pitch was very good. Giving Heron of the North award tomorrow, Heron that flew North award tomorrow, is not going to be easy. I think everyone had a really
Sucks
good
to be
game,
you.
and I know. And yeah, just enjoy this. Lap this up. Of course, next game is going to be in the Club World Cup, but once we're back in the MLS, I hope we can continue this form and Javi Mascherano builds on this because it's going to be important. But for now, great way to finish off this portion of the season. Great way to finish off the first half of the season, honestly, because I think we're at the halfway point just about.
I want you to know, it just dawned on me that our next game is going to be against Ali in the Club World Cup in Hard Rock Stadium, and all the pomp, and that just like it's okay. Sorry,
That's going to
we
be
can
fun.
maybe talk about that later. Nick Smith says third place with the game at hand. We'll get back to that. Miami King says we're an attacking team now. We're an counterattacking team now.
That fourth goal wasn't entirely counterattacking.
No, it goes shush. It was absolutely
No. The
absolutely
fourth.
no.
The
Listen,
fourth goal.
stop. The game plan and the performance was a counterattacking performance. I don't want to take away one little moment and pretend like that's not what this was representative of. That's the best way for Inter Miami to play. I don't think that that's sustainable for the players we have. And yet, if they play like this, then whatever, do
No,
it.
I actually disagree. It's not about the sustainability for the players that we have. I think it's not going to work against everyone. And this is how you play against Columbus. You have to sit back a little bit against Columbus and absorb a little bit of pressure because this is also a team that loves to play with the ball at its feet. The problem is Inter Miami doesn't necessarily have all the tools yet to be able to outplay Columbus with its own style. So you have to adapt to it. And we talked about this in the pregame show. I think I would have still set this team up in a counter-attacking formation with the players that we have because we don't necessarily have the way to beat them in any other tactical setup. So yes, we were a counter-attacking team today, but I don't think that can work against every other team. When we play a team that sits in a low block, it's still a problem. We need to figure out how to actually beat them. But for today, I think this was the perfect plan and it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny, man. I was so pessimistic in the pregame show. I was so convinced this was going to be where it all falls apart, and instead we get this performance, and that is just like such a funny sport sometimes. Um,
So just goes to show that you should listen to me and not Scotty.
Missiano says 4-3-1-2. The truth, the midfield, man. It's just so nice to play a real midfield.
I don't
Uh,
care what formation it is. You have to play three players in the middle. You
when
have to.
you when Inter Miami had been playing with Federico Redondo and Busquets as the midfield partnership, especially like the biggest games. They did this event against Vancouver in both games. There's no ball winning at all. You just don't win any balls at all. And when you put Kramaski in there, and when you put Yannick Bright in there, when you put Telasco Segovia and a third person in there, you start winning these balls. You start winning loose balls. You start winning. You start taking the ball away from the opposition. You make it more difficult for them to do what you want. Like it feels so clear that this is the best way to play by winning the midfield. And we have like just tried, not even cared about it all season. And all of a sudden, we do care about it and we start playing better. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
It also creates space up top a little bit. I
Yeah.
think it just
Yeah.
it's so much more effective. And can you imagine a midfield three of Yannick Bright, Segovia, and Busquets? We would tear apart any team in the MLS. I don't think we're ever going to see that, but one can dream. No, I agree with you. Any formation we play going forward has either if it's 4-4-2, if it's 4-3-1-2, if it's 4-3-3, it has to be a three-man midfield because we don't have the legs or the capability to just play a double pivot and Messi in the middle. It just doesn't work for us. So 4-3-1-2, 4-4-2, whatever you want to call it, this is the truth, man. This is the truth, and you have to stick with it. Both games, last two games, we've played similar formations, and it's worked wonders for us. Different types of opposition, different quality of opposition, yet the result has been the same. And you do more of this, you're going to get better results.
Yeah. Miami King says Messi's best game this season. He is just unreal. It's not actually. Like he played phenomenal tonight, but the first month of the season, we were talking about how he was in the best form of his Inter Miami career. And if he's getting back to that, and this week, like if anyone really is back this week, it's Messi. He got the breakthrough free kick against Philadelphia, was phenomenal against Montreal, phenomenal again tonight. The thing that gave me confidence 6 months ago going into this Club World Cup is that I knew we were going to have the best player on the field. And while Al Ali probably 1 through 20 is better, and while Palmeiras and Porto are certainly better 1 through 20, we had number one. And that I think can be a difference maker when you're in competition like this. And so for him to be in good form heading into this, that makes me feel a lot better about our chances. It makes me feel like, okay, I'm ready to go out. Let's just go out and see what happens. I'm not going to be dreading it. I'm going to be ultra excited for
I'm
that
not going to be sitting
Al
with
Ali
my
game.
eyes closed, hoping
Yeah.
that Inter Miami doesn't concede goals. Yeah.
Yeah. Now listen, I said that exact same thing right before the playoffs started last year. So grain of salt, but it's really nice to see. Lightning says we might be back. Anton says awesome. Ash says this team was much better at passing and spacing, and I think Kramaski plays a huge role in that. Honestly, we're going to spend more time talking about him tomorrow night.
We should get away from the notion of how this team is better at doing this. They've always known how to do this. It's just how the setup has not allowed them to flourish. This team hasn't changed overnight. The quality of the players hasn't changed overnight. It's how you use these players that's important. And that's why I keep saying you have to put them in a position to succeed because all of the talent is there for you to see. Kramaski hasn't developed this instinct of being a midfielder overnight. He plays in that position. He has played in the position before. He is more comfortable there. Segovia is better when he's playing with the ball at his feet than away from it. And you put them in those positions, and this team is going to flourish. It's as simple as that.
Jay says Columbus's last 5 games, 2 losses, 3 ties. They're in the death spiral that Miami's clawing its way out of. I thought my honest opinion of Columbus was their goalkeeper was awful and their striker was awful, Aliyu and Nick Hagan, and that's why they went down 3-0 and had no ability to answer offensively. And that if those two players are different, this might be a totally different game, but they're not. And it shows you that if your striker is useless and your goalkeeper is useless, you're gonna struggle to be productive. And by the way, that is sort of what Inter Miami's dealt with over the last 6 weeks, where Oscar Stari's had some really poor games and Luis Suarez has had some really poor games. But those two players we know have the ceiling to get out of poor form. And obviously, I don't care about Columbus, but those two players, I don't know if they actually have the sort of talent to get out of that.
Yeah, and if you take it more in terms of the grand scheme of things, okay, yes, I agree with you. But I think in terms of this game, it was more than just their goalkeeper and their forward being poor. Like Darlington Nagbe did not have anything to do this game. Like he was ineffective this game. They had a couple of good opportunities, but other than that, I thought we outplayed them in every position. And that's an important part of why we won this game. Yes, overall, I think Columbus is struggling a little bit, but I think they'll be fine. Come playoffs, they'll be good again. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I think if your goalkeeper is giving up goals like that, and I thought all three of the first three goals he should have done better. Um, you get a lift, but whatever. SD says Messi with 4 goal contributions, incredible. Adarsh calls me out for saying that I said that we were going to lose 3-1 in the pregame. I was wrong. Hands up, and that's how I started this podcast. Lemmy King says best game from Benha this year. Mascherano, Martinez needs to start over Lujan and Kramaski over Redondo. David Martinez and Maxi Falcone, these guys have been just disappeared. And they are only playing because of injury.
I have
How
no idea,
is
man.
Gonzalo Lujan
I think
starting game after game after game? There's 4 center backs that are head and shoulders above him, and he's the guy starting over all of them.
there needs to be an investigation into how Lujan has managed to find his way on this team. There is no way in this universe that he should be starting ahead of Maxi Falcone, Toto Aviles, and David Martinez. Absolutely no way. Ian Frey, Ryan Saylor, all five defenders.
And
He
no
should
out.
not be starting over them. He is poor. He is really poor. And there's a reason why Inter Miami plays better when Lujan is not on the pitch. And I don't want to make this about him, but there's a reason.
No,
Anyways.
it's the fact that David Martinez and Maxi Falcone are really good. And what are we doing without them? And Rishu says
Exactly.
David Martinez, try David Maldini. Juanis says Mascherano out. Let's talk about Javier Mascherano, because I think this has been his week. I thought he should have been on trial 2 weeks ago, but turns out this was the week I think he was on trial. He gets the result against Philadelphia. He gets the result he needed against Montreal. This is the game, though, that everything sort of was based on, right? Because the first 2 results kind of were just good enough. They weren't great. They were good enough to get us to here. This was great. And all of a sudden, Inter Miami, 3rd place in the Eastern Conference with the game in hand. They've won 2 games in a row. They're in good form again. Their best players in good form. Suarez is scoring goals. They're getting better defensive play because their center backs, personnel-wise, are in a better spot. What do you think?
He's getting there. Tonight
Well,
could have gone.
I don't want to say
No,
he's getting there. Okay,
no.
let me just say this.
Let me complete my thoughts.
You didn't.
He's been on trial for the last
There's
2
no
weeks.
completing anything.
No, he's been on trial for the last 2 weeks. This game, I think, could have gone multiple different ways. Let me just say, it doesn't change anything in my mind as of now. I still don't think he's completely off the hook. He needs to continue to prove himself. But this is the best he could have responded in this particular game. Best case scenario it could have gone. In fact, this entire week, best case scenario that could have been for him. He set his team up really well, had the right ideas, made good substitutions, got the right result, and blew out one of the best teams in the league. So in that sense, absolutely, you have to commend him. When you criticize him if he's losing, you have to commend him when he's winning. Today, you could have easily said, oh, we won because of individual talent. Messi was fantastic. No, I think it was more than that. The game plan was there to see. He knew exactly how he wanted his team to play and executed to perfection, clinical, complete performance, and honestly, best case scenario for him. But he has to continue to do this. And if he can manage that, if he can get this team out once again, get them to perform, put on a good show in the Club World Cup, come back in the MLS, continue to win games. Then we can talk about him actually being off the hook. But I am still reluctant to say that once Gonzalo Lujan's back, he's not going to put him in the starting 11. And that's going to be the death of him if he does that.
Yeah, I think my opinion on Javier Mascherano hasn't changed, actually.
I agree.
But what I will say is I think if they lose today, he's going to coach the Club World Cup, but he might be fired after the Club World Cup. I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
I don't think so either.
So like they can get crushed in the Club World Cup, and I think he's still going to be the coach against Atlanta on that first game back. Because now that you look at it, the stats, right? 12 goals in the last 3 games. All of a sudden, you've scored more goals than anyone in the East or in the MLS. You're one. I think Philadelphia has 1 point. I'm sorry, has 4 points on Inter Miami. So if you win the game in hand, you're only 1 point behind Philadelphia for first in the East. Like the entire complexion of your season has changed with this one game, really. And you can convince yourself that it's good, even though like I think we would talk about the performances. And by the way, you know what I'm really interested in, and I don't want to spend too much time criticizing him, but I'm very interested to see what he says about the post game, because if he says something about this little thing we did wrong, or if he talks about the set piece defense and he's focused on how to improve, not just that we got a 5-1 result and he's relieved and he's thrilled and all that stuff, but if he talks about how do we get better from here, like that would actually go a long way for me. But for now, he did what he had to do, and I think that's commendable, and I appreciate him for that.
By the way, Messi has 5 goal contributions this game.
Are you sure? I thought. Yeah, I think you're right.
Apparently. 2 goals and 3 assists is what he's been given. So,
how do you describe the indescribable? Honestly,
you just sit and applaud.
Allende's opening goal changed the game, dude. I get when people are going to be frustrated with him for missing a shot on goal or sort of taking a touch too far and you kind of lose an opportunity. But what he does to open the game up with his verticality just is going to allow Messi and Suarez to have to be so much more effective. He's a huge part of this. And when he scores goals like he did today, like he's just becomes a phenomenal player.
He's just so much better than I thought he would be. And that's like a genuine compliment. I didn't expect him to be such a good player, but he's really good. He's always goal dangerous. Even in games that he's not having the best time, he's always goal dangerous and gets into good positions. And he's the only one so far that offers the kind of verticality. Fafa Pico as well. I thought that goal that Fafa Pico took was quintessential Fafa Pico, but he's the only one who offers that level of verticality. And I love what he brings to this team.
Toto Aviles was available today. So while I kind of in the back of your mind, you think probably he wasn't actually available, it does make you think he doesn't have a long-term injury. And given 2 weeks, I would imagine he would be healthy for that game against Al Ahly. But I don't think we can necessarily say the same thing about Gonzalo Lujan or Jordi Alba. So going into this Al Ahly series, he's by he I mean Javier Mascherano. He likes to play a left-footed center back. If Jordi Alba's not back, Noah Allen's going to play left back. David Martinez is going to play left-sided center back in the Club World Cup. And if he plays well, we are having a totally different conversation about him come the end of next month when his loan runs out. Has your opinion changed on him in terms of his future at Inter Miami over the last 2 games?
Honestly, really depends on how he plays over the next few games. I would keep him if he, depending on what the financials are and how the contract plays out. I would actually extend his loan. I like him, and honestly, for the Club World Cup, as long as both of them are fit, of course you can change around because we're playing 3 games in 14 days. But I would play Martinez and Falcon as a partnership. I think they really complement each other, and I like that better than Martinez and Aviles, if I'm being honest.
I don't know. We'll have plenty of time to talk about this, but the Falcone even today gave up a free kick goal. And these teams that are coming at the end of their season, they're going to be well drilled on their set pieces, and you can imagine if it's Falcone, they're going to be targeting him. I don't know. We'll have plenty of time to talk about it. But Circus Fun says the first time in 5 games that Messi shook hands with the refs at the end of the game and did not yell at them. He looked happy. Like, it's not something we've spent a ton of time sort of worried about or thinking about too much, but you'd rather have a happy Messi than a not happy Messi. And some people in the chat's mentioning, like, he looked like happy to be there today. And there have been some games where he has not looked happy to be there.
He not just happy, it feels like he's playing with a completely different swag now. Like he's just so strong, always on the ball, like getting through, dribbling through players. He's enjoying himself, and I love that on the pitch, and it looks like off the pitch as well now. So, yeah, look what 2 games can do, man. What 2 games can actually do to you.
I know. Sean says, do you think this game has taught Mascherano to trust other players?
I don't trust Mascherano
No,
to
yeah.
think that he trusts other players. I don't
Let me
trust
answer
him.
that question for you, because you just said 5 minutes ago that once other players come back, you're not sure he's actually going to pick the right players again. So I don't think Sword trusts him anymore. Sean says Fafa had the best taken goal all game. Some people thought it was the fourth goal. Did you have a personal favorite?
I'll have to think through the 5 goals. Honestly, I love the Luis Suarez goal. I thought that was really well constructed. Very, very well taken. So yeah, that was it for me.
Jeffrey says Ryan Saylor is the IMCF victory cigar. I love that. I love that so much. He hasn't been on the bench in like months, and here he is getting in this game, celebrating 5-1. Cello was pretty good, man. I also like the fact that Cello and Ian Frey were on the field at the same time. I thought that was kind of cool.
Ian Frey in the middle was a revelation, man. Put him there more often. I love it. But Cello was good. Cello was very good.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you wanted to see more of? I know Abondo and Saylor came on sort of in the last minute and a half. But considering how sort of low down the bench was, I don't know. I thought Leo Alfonso maybe could have come for Fafa.
I would have preferred to see Abondo slightly earlier. I think it could have been nice for him to have like at least 10 minutes of a run out, but it's fine. No, I think he made good substitutions. I was slightly confused about the Starry substitution. Not sure what happened there. Looks like he probably picked up an injury. We'll find out. But yeah, I would have preferred to see Abondo play a little bit longer.
Nick Smith says we're in third place now. They're like back in the table.
Clawed our way up, huh?
Like, the CONCACAF Champions Cup has always been the sort of, like, I think you have to break glass if that looks like it's not going to happen, because you can't risk next year's season or potential season for something that's not working. But third in the East, probably like fourth or fifth in the Supporters Shield table, and with some momentum, with Philadelphia, who's one of the best teams in the East. Both games are behind you. Columbus, one of the better teams in the East. Both games are behind you. Like, that means they're going to play some of the easier games coming up. I know they haven't played Cincinnati yet, but like you can start to see how there's a climb back to first or second in the Eastern Conference, and then you get into the CONCACAF Champions Cup through Supporter Shield table regardless, and then go and win Leagues Cup and get your spot is a bonus. Go and win MLS Cup, you get your spots is the goal to win MLS Cup, but you don't have to worry about it with the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Like, that makes me feel a lot better about where the season is, if I'm being honest with you.
Step by step, man, game by game. It's a long way to go. We can see what 3 games have done, but it could just turn around as quickly. So let's go game by game, and hopefully we can build on this momentum going forward.
Mascherano says we should re-sign Martinez and dump Lujan in order to do so. You know why I want them to keep Martinez? Because if they don't, it's going to be Javier Mascherano that picks his replacement, and now you have no faith that he's going to end up being better. Do you think his judgment in terms of who to pick up in the transfer market is going to have improved based on his first 6 months or 4 months in the MLS?
I don't trust him, man.
Because I do
trust him.
think I think if we saw him bring in Lujan and Falcone, and he has sort of benched Falcone, if he benched Lujan also, you can start to be okay. Actually, there's an athleticism to this league that I wasn't necessarily prepared for, and I have to be taking more seriously moving forward. But I don't know if that's where we're at. I mean, he's done similar with Fafa Picault. Picault hasn't played a ton, certainly hasn't started a ton. But Baltasar's been hurt, so I think maybe it's too early to tell still.
No, I think it's too early to tell. There's a long way to go with Javi Mascherano, honestly. And who's to say he picks his player and then doesn't play him? I can totally see that happening as well.
What did you think of the refereeing in this game?
I thought it was fine. I didn't find anything too much out of question as such. What about you?
I thought this was the first time in a long time Inter Miami was like getting calls,
Yeah.
and we're getting the benefit of the doubt. That there was this one play I mentioned right before Inter Miami scores the fourth goal where Maxi Falcone just like drags Ruvalcaba to the ground, and then Ruvalcaba got a yellow card, and Inter Miami got the
Yeah.
ball. That was kind of silly, but it's nice to not feel like the refs are against you. You know. All right,
Yeah.
I'm just pinning. I'm just pinning through the rest of the chats. But Sor, is what else is on your mind? I mean, I'll read through it and find whatever else we should talk about. But talk to
It's
me
so
about
annoying that
what's on your mind.
I'm slightly scarred by this Inter Miami team over the last few weeks and months because this is a game that you should celebrate and really enjoy and revel in. But the only thing I can think of is I hope we don't go back to being, excuse my language, shit, because we were quite poor for a long time, and then I really hope that this is a turning a corner moment and we actually continue to put in these kind of performances and Javier Mascherano learns from these kind of performances because we could easily go back to being really poor again and on a run of poor games or just winless games. I hope that doesn't happen. And that's all I can think right now. I hope this is a turning a corner moment where we finally figured out how this Inter Miami team wants to play together because today was the first time I saw us play like a team. And I like that. I really enjoyed that.
Fun fact: Mascherano outcoached Nancy, says WrestleMedia, and that is
Twice.
true. Wow, I don't know if he
This time
outcoached him the
was
first time. This time, certainly he did, though. Misiano makes a great point. We are in trouble with the goalkeepers because I don't think Rocco Rios Novo is the guy I want in goal against Al Ali or Palmeiras in 2 weeks. We haven't really talked about it. We don't know what's going on with Ustari. I was looking to see if there was any update, and I don't see any. Another reason for pessimism.
oh, we've got Yarbrough coming in, so
He's
maybe
already in, dude. He's going to be on the
he's a
bench
great
for that game.
great
Um,
goalkeeper.
Jerry says, give Mascherano lots of credit for sticking out a cool head all this time. We now have a young coach gaining good experience and learning how to win, but more important, how to get a team turned around. I'm happy to give Mascherano credit. Go ahead. I'll let you respond to that first.
I think he deserves full credit for this game. Absolutely. He deserves credit for keeping a cool head and getting us out of, oh, well, powering through the criticism. I don't know if he's learning. I want to see more from him to make that comment and say that he's learning and gaining experience and making changes that are suitable for this team. If he does that over the next few games, then I can completely jump on board. But right now, I want to just limit my commendations to this game and how he's managed the crisis a little bit. He could have easily just completely drowned in the criticism that he faced, but he's done well. And then this game was a well coached game. I hope he's learning. I hope he now realizes who the players are he can trust and who aren't the players he can trust, and where to put players to get the best out of them. I see his comment on Twitter. He's basically said it is our responsibility to make sure Messi is surrounded by the right tools, right players, and the players help him flourish. I hope he sees that for the rest of the team as well. And it's going to take time before I truly trust his ability to learn from his mistakes, because there's one thing making mistakes, there's another thing learning from his mistakes. As of now, I haven't seen that, and hopefully it gets better. But today's game was definitely head and shoulders above. He's tactically outclassed Wilfred Nancy, which is exceptional.
B says if we want to compete in the Club World Cup, we need better. We're letting in too many set piece goals and goals off of corners. Um, Forgetting the Club World Cup just for a second, but just for the rest of the season, including that tournament, it's becoming a problem. Like it's so noticeable. It feels like every single game now we're giving up a goal from either a corner or a set piece. Do you think we're going to see a better team in 2 weeks, and they have 2 weeks on the training ground, or do you think this is going to be our sort of kryptonite all season?
I think we're a short team generally, so it might be a kryptonite in general. I see your reaction,
Yeah,
so
but
please go ahead.
it's uh, is about something else. I don't think it's just that they're short. I think there's a lack of physicality and a lack of
Yeah.
like awareness. Like the goals they're giving up are um, they're not just height. I mean, today's might have been, but it's a lot of lack of physicality and a lot of lack of height. Going back to the last comment, I wanted to mention that I'm happy to give Javier Mascherano credit, but the other person I want to give credit to is Lionel Messi because after that Orlando City game, he put a lot of his captain capital sort of out there to say, we're going to fix this. And he spoke with the meeting, he did the team meeting and all of that stuff. And I really thought for 85 minutes it was going to be a disaster that he did that and it was going to fail going into Philadelphia. But then he stepped up and made it happen. But now I think because he did the rah rah thing that I don't know, whatever you want to call it, and then he backed it up, the whole team has now lifted and said, okay, if Messi can do this, I believe in him. I can follow him. The whole team's confidence and level has gone up. And it's because not only did he make the statement, we're going to be better, but then backed it up. And I think from a inside the locker room perspective, I think he deserves a ton of credit for
Yeah.
this 3-game turnaround. I know it's only been a week, but I did want to give him a lot of credit. Bizrat says, I'm still skeptical about Masche. And I think that's fair. Jerry says, what does Jerry say? Jerry says Mascherano handpicked Segovia and Allende, so give him credit for that. He has not been able to play Baltasar, who has 10 times more skills on the ball than Segovia. I will just say I don't believe that he's that much of an improvement at all. And I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm
I
pretty
still think he's a
skeptical about
ghost.
Baltasar. I'm still pretty skeptical that Baltasar is going to be a huge
Yeah.
difference maker. Hopefully he's a good player, but I don't know. I don't have a super high opinion. I just want to go run through the last because, well, here's an interesting one. Adar says, why don't you guys go to the game? Neither of us live in South Florida anymore. So I don't know. I used to go. I moved out of
We
South Florida in 2023 this summer. But before that, I used to go to like 2, 3, 4 games a year.
Yeah, we might go if the teams are local, but honestly, when they do come here, we prefer to be on with you guys and do the pre-game show and post-game shows. But yeah, we often go from time to time. I went for the New York game last year, and then maybe I go for another one this year. We'll see. If we make the playoffs, we might just.
Yeah, we're gonna try and go to the opener of the new stadium next year too, if we can make it
Mascherano giving us the real reason.
Yeah. This is what I want to end on. Mariella says, guys, I love these shows after the game. I feel like enjoying the game among friends. And I just want you to know that I feel the exact same way. It is such a joy and pleasure. And to be able to do this with you guys and the fact that you guys want to come on here and interact with us and we can either cry together or, get some hair and therapy together or just celebrate an amazing performance like this. So Sora, I just want to thank you for being a part of this, and to everyone everyone that's listening, everyone that gets in the chat, everyone that's a part of this. It's so amazing. I can't believe it. Like this is really something that we get to do, and I'm just hugely grateful. So I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you guys find this at least mildly entertaining. Just a bozo and a knucklehead, right?
Absolutely. Well said.
All right, Sora, maybe we should end it there. Do you have any final words?
5-star performance. Let's take this into the Club World Cup and show the world why Inter Miami is the club that we support and the club that we love.
Dude, the Club World Cup is our next game. I'm not ready I haven't clocked that yet. It's always been like a faraway, cool tournament that in the future, but now it's here. We're gonna do some special, cool stuff over the next 2 weeks to prep for it, and then during the tournament, we'll do all sorts of stuff too. But It's happening, man. That's pretty fun. I'm like excited for it now.
It's going to be fun.
I
Yeah.
think that's cool. Okay, guys, we will see you tomorrow with a full game breakdown. We'll get into much more deeper analysis, not the half effort times we've done it the last 2 games, but this one will be a full recap. And we hope you guys will join us, break down all the goals, what went right, what went wrong, and we'll give out some awards as always. But until then, have a lovely night. See you guys next time. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this and have a wonderful day.